Do you like it? How about this one?
That I didn't see coming.
And I think I have everything set up. Got my new laptop up and running this week, so we'll see how things work. Thank you for listening to Game on Online Gaming Radio. I'm your host, Trueflight. I have a guest who's going to be joining me later in the show. What else have I got here? Got a good show for you this week, a bunch of random stuff to cover, as well as the launch of Defiance. You can join us in our IRC, hosted by globalgamers.net, which I am not in yet for some reason, because I got sidetracked and didn't realize it was time. You can head over to www.ogrshows.com, click on the IRC chat button at the top of the page. It'll open up a web-based IRC client, it'll take you right to us. Or you can always use your favorite IRC client with the information from that page to log in. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Online Gaming Radio without any A's. Or my personal account, Trueflight_EQ2 on Twitter. Where I post all my thoughts, updates on the show, and pretty much random stuff. You can always reach me by email as well with your questions, comments, and suggestions at trueflight@ogrshows.com. And I'm still trying to log in the IRC. It's being stupid. Anyway, I have a whole random list of things I want to go over tonight. As well as I said, Defiance launched. And I've been talking about that game for months. So, let me get this straightened out here. And figure out where to start. Why is this being so stubborn? Oh, helps if I actually log in first. There we go. Oh, where to begin? Today is Monday, April 1st, 2013. So the April Fool's Day jokes are abundant on the internet today. I've seen everything from YouTube closing shop because of copyright issues to all sorts of other odds and ends. I was playing World of Tanks earlier today. When the noises and sound effects are all screwed up, and when you kill someone, they become a little ghost tank with wings and fly away. So that was kind of entertaining. Yeah, I made it in the IRC now. And what other ones do we see? EverQuest 2 celebrated Bristlebane Day with the Meat Beast being turned into a rideable mount. I'm still going to get one of them for Wongo. Guild Wars 2 started celebrating early with a update, and it's a really cool one if you haven't seen it yet. It's the Asura built this little machine that basically transports you to an 8-bit world, and you get to play through a simple 8-bit game. And it's actually kind of fun. It suggests a group of 5. I went through the first 1.5 solo. I got to the boss on the second one, but I couldn't beat him. So I'm curious to see how that... Oh, they're telling me the Meat Beach cost $50. I didn't actually load it up and look. That's hurtful. I will double check on that just to be sure, but I trust you, Curel. That's pretty, I thought it was a quest reward. Okay, he's saying the pink one does. Yeah, but is it that much because it's a donation to a charity? Does the normal one cost $20? Really? See, now you're going to make me load it up and look. Alright, I'm loading it up. I was going to broadcast today. I'm actually in Defiance, if you have it. It launched early. Wasn't supposed to go live until midnight tonight. It's actually up and running right now. So I'm actually in Defiance on top of the Top Notch Toolworks. I'm hanging out up on the roof. If you want to find me. I'm loading up EQ2 right now to check that out. What other ones did I have? Let's see. Newsworthy wise. Since we're going to be talking about Defiance, which is a Tryon game, Tryon recently had a falling out in Korea and pulled the plug on Rift. As of April 25th, Rift will no longer be available in Korea. Though I'm sure if you use a proxy, I'm sure you can go someplace else and play it on a different server. The cash shop closes on the 17th and the server shut down on April 25th. Their reason for it was that they just couldn't compete with games like Blade of Souls and Diablo 3. Hopefully Defiance will fare better. Carol's still going off about stuff while I'm trying to log in here. See, I'm way behind on my EQ2 stuff because this weekend has been all Defiance for me. Getting everything all situated and ready for that on top of the launch today. Alright, saying that the Meat Beast is only available today, April 1st. So depending on where you're probably going by Pacific time, so you probably got, 6 hours or so left. And of course I haven't patched, so I can't log into EQ2 yet. Just to make things easy on me. While that's loading, let's see what else do we have in the news. Vanguard, as of April 4th, will be merging down to one server. All characters over level 10 will automatically move. Characters under level 10 will only be moved if they have been accessed since October 3rd. And the name priority will be based on the last login. So if you got some characters over on Vanguard you want to keep, make sure you log into them before the 4th. This week, World of Tanks announced they're going to be doing a Android and iOS app for World of Tank Blitz, which is a 7 versus 7 PvP match inspired by the World of Tanks game. Saw a couple screenshots. It actually looks halfway decent. They're touting that it will rival anything on consoles. So I'm curious to see how that turns out. Let me actually read what Curel's saying here. It says the pink one is the one that's only available April 1st. This weekend there were also multicolored spawning meat beasts that could be tamed in the Great Divide, Antonica, Common Lands, Thundering Steppes, and Sinking Sands. I'm assuming that's to replace the Beast Lord version that was no longer tameable. There were 4-hour spawn times. Interesting. There's also a quest in EverQuest 2 where you can get a full Jester outfit and a Meat Beast house pet. You can also get them from the Meat Beast bundle on the marketplace. I'm still waiting for it to patch. I'm running too much stuff, so it's probably going to take forever. Anyway, what else is going on? Star Trek Online announced the Legacy of Romulus expansion, which is coming... It says May 21st, but I don't think it's live yet. I believe I wrote that down wrong. I think that's when they announced it, not when it's going live. Or no, May. Duh. Can't even read my own writing. There's an echo? There shouldn't be an echo. Or are you picking on the echo because I'm reading what Curel's saying in the chat? Fine, be that way. Yeah, May 21st, sorry. Star Trek Online Legacy of Romulus. They added the new playable race, the Romulans, which it says has level 1 to 50 content, but it also says you must ally with either the Federation or the Klingons. So it's not really its own faction, but it allies with one or the other. The key thing that people have been talking about is the fact that if you ally with the Klingons, it says there's level 1 to 50 content. Well, originally it was making you wait until I think it was 21 to make a Klingon, so there was no level 1 to 20 content. So hopefully that means the Klingons are getting their lower level content filled out as well. What else did I have? I've got tons of stuff actually, but a lot of it is Defiance related, and I'm trying to save that for later. When I bring up my notes, and the whole first page is Defiance. Be that way. Star Citizen. I've talked about it a couple times on the show. That's why I hate doing the show by myself. I end up just rambling. Star Citizen, I've talked about several times on the show, from the creator of the Wing Commander series. It's his Kickstarter program. They originally wanted, I think it was something like $2 million to fund the program. Last I checked, I believe they were over $8 million. They've exceeded all of their stretch goals and everything, so it's become a really big deal. Basically, it's going to be a open world space sim, similar to Profiteer and Freelancer. Freelancer is the biggest one that comes to mind. Where you can customize your ship, you can follow different campaigns. You can actually go out on your own and basically do whatever you want, or you can do a military campaign, which is like a single-player type campaign, but it can also be done co-op. But they've been in the news with all sorts of things. There's tons of videos up for it. Let's see if I have the link handy. Of course I won't, because I want it. Of course I don't. Dead air, dead air. Yeah, here we go. Their original Kickstarter goal was $2 million. They currently have $8.4 million saved, or raised. They're offering, this is their actual description. It says, reclaim the stars in the exciting new space epic sim from the legendary game designer Chris Roberts. A rich universe focused on epic space adventuring, trading, dogfighting, and first person. Single player offline or online drop in, drop out co-op play. Persistent universe, hosted in the US. Moddable multiplayer, hosted by you. No subscription fee, no pay to win. They even have a system in-game which reminds me of Sony's Player Studio, where you can design things. You can actually design ships for the game, and if they meet their approval process, they will be added to the in-game markets, and you get a percentage of the profits from them. So that was a pretty cool thing. The persistent universe they talk about basically expands as people discover new systems, new planets. They even have a section for like wormholes. When you discover a new wormhole, you have to successfully navigate it and jump to another system through it. And after doing so, you actually get to name the wormhole. I'm sure there's going to be some specific restrictions on that to prevent abuse, but it'd be cool to basically immortalize yourself in the game because you were the first person to discover a system or a jump hole. That kind of stuff is cool. It says here, it brings the visceral action of piloting interstellar craft through combat and exploration to a new generation of gamers with a level of fidelity never before seen. At its core, Star Citizen is a destination, not a one-off story. It's a complete universe where any number of adventures can take place, allowing players to decide their own gaming experience. Pick jobs as a smuggler, pirate, merchant, bounty hunter, enlist as a pilot protecting the borders from outside threats. I always wanted to create a cohesive universe that encompasses everything that made Wing Commander, Privateer, and Freelancer special. A huge sandbox, complete with deep lore, allowing players to explore or play in whatever capacity they wish. They have a ton of cool videos on their websites. Some really neat stuff. They show off the graphic engine that the game's based on. It has a really neat physics engine. If you really into space sims, a lot of things are more arcade-ish controls. This uses a really complicated system that they built that's really neat. They have a video that explains it. Basically, your ship flies by a fly-by-wire system where you tell it you want to make a left turn. Well, in order to make a left turn, thrusters 2 and 3 have to be at this angle for this amount of thrust. And the computer basically asks how long it will take and how much power it will take to do that, calculates it, and in a fraction of a second does it. Well, as your ship takes damage, it takes those into consideration when doing the calculations. So a thruster might be damaged and only be able to power at 0.5%, so it's going to take twice as long to do something. So then your entire controls are changed by the damage as well. Really neat little things. The only complaint I have, and it was a big joke on the forums and stuff, is that a lot of the ship designs have these big intake fans on the front, which is kind of a joke because they're in space, so we can't figure out why they have fans on them. But hey, it's a really cool looking game, some really nice graphics, and from a guy who made some awesome games in the past, so I can't wait to see how it turns out. Anyway, enough about Star Citizen. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. What else do we want to talk about this week? I have played a handful of different games this week. I don't have a guest yet to ask them what they've been playing, but I know what my guest has been playing, so. I messed around with that Star Conflict. I talked about it last show a little bit. I haven't been playing it as much. World of Tanks got a big update, so I've been playing that. I did some Dota 2, actually. I've been getting into more and more. So that's been kind of entertaining. Picked up Arma 3 Lite from a friend. If you've never seen Arma 3, it's basically a military simulator in a complete open world. You can pretty much go anywhere and do anything. It's an interesting game. The light version does not have the multiplayer mode to it. You actually have to pay for that. The game's currently in alpha, but if you buy the alpha version of the game, you get the release version when it comes out. And I think the alpha is like $30. When the game comes out, it's going to be 60 something. So you do get a deal on it. Hey, it finally patched. Yay. I did get a chance to play through some of the holiday event for Guild Wars 2. It was a lot of fun. It's cool playing the older style graphics and things. They do have a, what do they call it, infantile mode for people who might not be able to do the missions. It dumbs down the zone quite a bit, makes things a lot easier. There's little shortcuts, there's ways to bypass a lot of the jumping puzzles. But it also lowers the rewards you get for completing the zones greatly. A lot of cool little odds and ends in there. I don't want to spoil some of the more fun stuff, but there are things like there's a shovel you can buy, and without knowing what to do with it, you wouldn't have a clue. But apparently some of the harder to reach ledges and higher up places that you can jump to, if you try digging, you'll find little rewards and prizes. I did really like the, I'm not sure which item, one of the item shops you could go in, you could actually basically destroy the building. Reminiscent of the old Legend of Zelda games. Pick up the pots and smash them, and I burned the rug. Pretty much destroyed the place. That was kind of fun. Oh, why are you going to sleep? You're not supposed to go to sleep while you're plugged in. Stupid thing. Trying to load into EverQuest 2 here. It's taking its time. Alright, I finally got in. Let us see what we have here. Where is it? Is that it? No, that's a painting. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. I'll be out here, Carol. I'm going to be looking forever for this thing. There we go. Yeah, he's right. It is $50. No, it's been marked down. I wonder if that was a typo. Curious if that was a typo or if it was just on sale. It's not labeled. The beloved berry-fed Bovich. Says it was 50,000 station cash. Now it's 5,000. And yes, he's right. It's still ridiculously overpriced compared to some of the other ones. Wonder why that is. I was trying to read it to see if it had anything special. Yeah, he's right. 50,000 or 5,000 still is $50 because basically you just moved the decimal point over with station cash. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. And he's right. There is no special. I was looking to see if maybe there was text in there about them donating a percentage to charity or something, which they have done in the past, but I don't see anything in there. Maybe the price is the Bristlebane Day joke. I'm at a loss on that one. Sorry. Is anyone out there listening actually playing Defiance? Or interested in it? Okay, fine, be that way. How about Rift? Any Rift fans out there? I did, as part of my Defiance pre-order, got a copy of the new Rift expansion. So I'm going to be giving that away on the show, probably. I do have a... And of course I've got the link on the wrong computer. I do have a Defiance Arc Hunter kit that I'm going to be giving away towards the end of the show when my guest shows up. It's going to be a really bad show because I didn't take a lot of notes because I was expecting to have a guest. So I'm going to ramble your ear off about Defiance because that is what I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, so that's what I actually know to talk about. If you don't know what Defiance is, it is a third-person shooter slash MMO. It is also a TV show. And the first 15 minutes of the TV show were released to the public to view. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's kind of like a mini episode in itself. It ends, so it's not like it leaves you at a cliffhanger. But I was kind of impressed by it. I was disappointed that the arcfall in the show is nothing like the arcfalls in the game so far. Hopefully, it's something we can look forward to. The servers were supposed to go live at 12:01 a.m. Eastern this morning. Well, tonight. As in, like, 2.5 hours or so. And lo and behold, probably around 5 o'clock this afternoon, they came up. It's kind of a soft release to let people in. Really cool for those of us who had already pre-installed. As a pre-order bonus, anyone who pre-ordered gets a red Dodge Charger in the game, which is currently the fastest vehicle in the game. Vehicles are pretty much mounts. I ordered through Steam, and I thought I had my Steam thing right here somewhere. Of course I don't. That would be too easy. Steam had all sorts of extras with theirs. Bring it up right now. You got a 3-day XP boost, an alternate outfit, in-game title, a sniper rifle, the Dodge that everybody else got. You got the first reward, which was when they achieved a certain amount of pre-orders. You got another title, Steam-powered, 5 extra inventory slots, which is huge, and a Atex Growler quad, which you get a quad off like the second or third quest you do in the game, so it's not that big of a deal. But it's cool to have choices. Once they got up enough people, was that copy of Storm Legion, the expansion to Rift. After that, you got a lockbox, which anybody who's played like EverQuest 2, or not EverQuest 2, Guild Wars 2, or pretty much any free-to-play MMO has. Star Trek Online has them. Lockbox, basically, you either pay the equivalent of station cash, gems, whatever they be in the game. In Defiance, it's bits to unlock them, or in this case, Star Trek Online also lets you do it, is to collect in-game stuff to unlock them as well. It just takes a lot longer. And you get a handful of random items out of them, which is kind of cool. You get another 7-day XP boost, a discount off the season pass, and the Nomad M4, which is basically like a Baja type pickup truck. I did notice I do not have my Baja. I got everything but the stupid Nomad. So, I'm curious about that. The Season Pass is actually something interesting. It's been a source of a lot of debate. Basically, the game is buy to play. Same as Guild Wars 2 and a bunch of other games. You pay for the box, you buy the game itself. There is no monthly fee, and there's no restrictions for not having a monthly fee. Like EverQuest, you can play without the monthly fee. However, you have all these limitations and things like that. There are no restrictions in this, but you have to purchase the actual game itself. Now, to make more revenue, they still have a in-game marketplace, just as EverQuest 2 does, just as Guild Wars 2, and pretty much every game out there now. And most of the stuff in the marketplace is appearance only. There's a couple vehicles, there's a couple XP boosters and things. They've done a good job of balancing it where it's not going to be a pay to win. Now the problem comes in this downloadable content, which EverQuest 2 tried back in the beginning and it just didn't work too well. Anybody remembers the old adventure packs? It's very similar to those. They offer a season pass, which gives you I think it's 20% discount on the first 5 DLCs. So basically, you pay for 4, you get 1 free. Because of the pre-sale thing and Steam, which I'm trying to bring up right now because I have it saved somewhere. Not only do you get the 25% off of the normal DLC for buying the season pass, but for the next 15 hours, which puts it sometime like noon tomorrow, they're giving you an extra 25% off of the already discounted pass for the season pass. Basically, it ends up being $30 instead of $40, or $50 if you buy each one individually. The problem is, the game just launched today. Technically, it's not even supposed to launch till tomorrow, and they're already looking at selling 5 downloadable content patches. So some people are all for it. They want the discount. They're going to buy them anyway, so it's really cool. Other people are bitching that the game hasn't even come out yet, and they already want you to buy DLC for it. So you can see where the arguments have started. But I'm not sure. I don't like the fact that the discount's on a timer. I really wanted to see how well the game caught on. I myself like it, but it's one of those things where if nobody else does, you don't want to be caught out there playing by yourself. So we'll see how it works. If you are interested, like I said, that the extra discount that Steam is offering is only good for another 15 hours. They actually have a clock on there. It's kind of funny. Defiance is also listed as the top seller on Steam right now, so it pops right up on the home page for you. That's kind of neat. Why can't I load this? There we go. I had the requirements and stuff on here too, but you guys don't want to hear me ramble them. You can always look them up. They're posted on the Tryon site. They're posted on the Steam site, so I won't bore you with that. What else do we have here? Hate dead air. Actually, I'm going to throw up a song or two and check on my guest here and see how much longer he's going to be. And I'll be right back with you guys. So hang on, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, echo, there we go. Carol's saying, see what I did? He's actually having fun with the Guild Wars 2 with the 8-bit world. I had a blast playing that. So, my guest tonight was actually going to be Caliber from Defiance Central. And he was actually going to get up early because he is in the Netherlands, which is 6 hours ahead of us. And he was going to come on the stream and be a part of the show here and then do a pre-show for the launch of Defiance. However, Defiance launched, like I said earlier, this afternoon. So, Caliber does a podcast for Defiance Central, as well as helps out with the website. He also does a live stream on Twitch, which I've talked about on the show last time, I believe it was. And he's got his live show up and running on Twitch with 200 and some followers right now. And I can't blame him for not wanting to stop doing his show to help out with ours. But on the same note, I'm pretty much completely burned through everything I had to talk about. because I was expecting to have him on and rant and rave and fanboy geek out, as we called it, about Defiance. So, I'm sure I could fill a little bit. I'll probably call the show, though, at the top of the hour here. I don't want to bore you guys with me umming and ahhing to myself. So, doing something here. Alright, so, what should we talk about? Do I know how to get past the laser boss thing? Which level are you on, Kirel? The first one? Kirel's playing the, I'm not sure what they call it in Guild Wars 2. It's basically the April Fool's quests. It's a Asura who made a 8-bit video game, and you get to test it out for potentially lethal bugs. And it's pretty cool because no matter what your level, no matter what your gear, you go in there and all you get is a stick. You're on the first one. The idea is to attack the cage, and you have to keep running around the perimeter. If you stop for too long, the boss thing sits above you and zaps you with this big laser thing, and it knocks you backward. And if you fall off the edge, then you take falling damage on top of that. So, yeah, the best bet is to keep running in a circle around the cage, hitting it, and then step a few, hit it, step a few. If you notice when he goes to fire, you can stop and start beating the thing as long as you're not directly in front of him when he shoots. But that's the basic way to do that. See, I helped somebody out. I want to go blow some stuff up in Defiance. On a positive note, now that the game has finally released, sadly the NDA for the beta, or for beta 3 was lifted. The NDA for the previous betas will probably never be lifted. The NDA for alpha most likely will never be lifted. So I can't talk about any of the stuff from that, but I can rant about what's in the game now. And I already came across one bug that really annoyed me all through beta and is still there, so it's driving me nuts. And I'm not even trying to describe it, but every now and then when you loot something, your screen kind of gets this jerky, twitchy motion to it. And if you try to zoom in to like aim, it jerks back and forth, back and forth. It's really obnoxious. And popping up any other menu and then immediately closing it again gets rid of the problem. So thankfully there is a workaround for it, but God, it drives me nuts. I just spilled in the water. And Kirel's happy because now he can do something with this elementalist without dying. I admit I had an elementalist, but I only played to like level 5 in Guild Wars 2. I played a Necro to like level 20 something, and then I have a Ranger and an Engineer, both maxed out. So, I really haven't messed with too many of the classes. I played a Warrior for a little while. So I'm biased. My Ranger was way too easy. I think they're way overpowered in Guild Wars 2. I guess it's to make up for how weak they are in other games. Anyway. Well, I have EverQuest 2 loaded up. What should I go break in there? I just tried to loot somebody's Tunair God Pit. Like I said, I'm sorry guys. I was expecting to have somebody on to rant about Defiance tonight. I'm way out of topics. I shall call this the Terrible and Short Show. If you are interested in Defiance and did not get in on it, I will tell you that the community managers have been tweeting all night. They're actually giving away digital deluxe editions of the game. So follow them on Twitter, and you can enter for a chance to win. Let's see, one of them is MYLL_Eric, and the other is something Sledge. I gotta look his up. I don't know his off the top of my head. And of course I'm not gonna find it because I'm actually looking for it. That would actually be an awesome idea, Kirill. Saying that they should do a April 1st quest for EverQuest 2 in the Enchanted Lands. Oh no, I misread. He's talking about there's a quest in Enchanted Lands in EverQuest 2 where the quest giver is a Manicore. I thought you were saying I could see them doing a similar version to the thing that they did with Guild Wars 2, where you got to play the 8-bit, but go in and play EQOA. That would be awesome. Why don't more game developers take old games that are no longer around, that they still own the rights to, use bits of them as mini games in newer games? I would love to do something like that. They kind of did to an extent in EQ2 with the Chrono Portals, which were up a little while back. I played through them. I didn't see much anything new in there, though. There was like a couple new paintings you could buy, and that was it. Saying that would be fun. They never got to play EQOA. It was a great game for its time. EQOA was basically the game between EQ1 and EQ2, even though it was set before EQ1 as far as timeline goes. But it had a lot of features of EQ1 and a lot of features of EQ2 kind of combined. It was dumbed down and simplified because it was on the console, but in its own way it gave it kind of its own feel. Like instead of having, in EQ2 we've got all these tons and tons of hotbars, and I mean I've got God knows how many, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hotbars right now in EQ2. In that, because you were using a controller, you actually had, I think when it first came out, you only had 5 spots on your hotbar. And then when the expansion came out, they added 5 more. But it was done as a, I'm trying to think of how it actually worked because it's been so long. It was basically a bar that had 5 slots in it, and you get to pick which spell went in each slot, or which ability. And you're up and down on your cursor, you know, the cross pad on the controller, moved the highlighted spell up and down on that list of the 5, and left and right later flipped you to the second page and back to the first page. And you scroll down to the spell you wanted, and I think it was circle or one of the 4 buttons over there, cast, whatever it was. So if you wanted to cast, you know, you had a casting order, you would hit, you know, circle down, until you cast through your spells. And then one of your other buttons was auto attack. There was no jump. And when we got really good at it later on, I mean, I used to raid and everything in EQOA, and you get to the point where you were good enough where you could cycle out spells mid-combat. And the way to do that was basically you brought up the menu and reprogrammed specific spells while they had a cooldown timer, because you only had those 10 you could use. So you would bring them up, cast the ability, then while it was down for its 30-second or whatever, cooldown timer, you would actually go in the menu, swap that button out with a different spell, go back to the game, cast that spell, go back to the menu, swap it back to the first spell, then go to your next one, do the same thing, until you got down your casting order, and got back to the top, and then you start over. The one real downside to EQOA, I will complain, other than the fact that they pretty much stopped supporting it years before they finally canceled it, is there was no quests for a game called EverQuest. You only got quests at levels that ended in, well, at the beginning, you up till about level 10 to 20, I think it was. Might have been 10. There were quests all the time. Once you got up to there, yeah, I think it was 10. Then they started, you got a quest in every level that ended with a 3, 5, 7, and 0. And that was it. And usually there was maybe 2 or 3. And at low levels it was fine. It was when you started to get to the high levels and you were getting, okay, I hit 73. There's 2 quests. My next quest isn't until 75. I've got 2 days worth of grinding to get from 73 to 75. And then you hit 75 and you did the 2 or 3 quests that were there. I think it was 3 quests now that I think about it. And then there were nothing until 77. So that was its major downside, I thought. The graphics were pretty tame. They were okay for the time. Much better once the expansion came out. I want to say it was one of the first console-based games with a subscription fee as well. I'm sure there was something prior to that. I mean, there was a Phantasy Star Online, God knows how long ago. Which I used to win an argument not too long ago. Somebody was trying to say that the Defiance was going to be the first real MMO on a console. Nobody counts Final Fantasy because the last one of them bombed. But we were trying to point out to them that Phantasy Star Online for the Genesis, I think it was the first console MMO, and that was back in 98. No, it was before that even. I gotta look it up, because that's gonna bug me. See, I'm looking it up. Phantasy Star Online. Oh no, it was 2000 for the online one. My bad. It was actually on the Dreamcast. I swear there was one on the Genesis. Back when we had the Time Warner cable modem for the Genesis. I'm starting to date myself. Well, I'm not going to be able to find it for the life of me. Yes, that's how old I am. I had the Sega Channel for Genesis, which was an amazing thing, way ahead of its time. For anybody who doesn't remember, the Sega Channel was a thing that Time Warner Cable offered for the Genesis. It was a cable modem that connected to your Genesis, and you basically had access to the entire Genesis library of games, and you could go in there and temporarily download them to your system and play them. And when you got bored of one, you just went and picked another one. Granted, it did take forever to download an actual game, so you picked a couple that you really liked and you kept them loaded and you never shut the system off. And but I remember constantly downloading all these different games and trying them. And it was an awesome thing back in the day. Am I dating myself? Does anyone else remember the Sega Channel? And now we have things like Steam, which basically let you do that exact same thing. There is a service out there, what's it called? I can't think of the name of it. There's a service out there right now, Gamefly, that's what it is. It lets you basically download and rent games. It's kind of like Blockbuster online. You get to download, try, and rent games for certain fees. Kind of a cool idea. All this stuff, had it come around a decade sooner, probably be still around. Well, as I said, I was expecting to have a guest tonight to fill out the rest of the show. As you can tell, I've obviously ran out of things to talk about. I tried to stretch it out to the top of the hour here, which is about as close as I'm going to get. Basically, got nothing left this week, so sorry for a pretty lame episode this week. On the positive side, won't take me long to edit it. I will do better and take better notes. Hopefully have a guest who actually shows up for the next show. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can always email me at Trueflight at ogrshows.com. I'm going to get that right yet. They changed it on us. It used to be Online Gaming Radio, and they tried to make it shorter. So it's at ogrshows.com. And let me know. Still looking for a permanent co-host too, if anybody out there is interested. It's really hard to do these shows by yourself. It's one thing when there's somebody else here. Somebody always brings up a comment. You have alternating opinions on things. When you're actually here by yourself, basically it's like talking to myself. Now, I do get some interaction with you guys in the channel, but still. Like I said, if anybody's interested in being on the show, even if it's only for a temporary guest, I will gladly have you. Get a hold of me, and I will see you in 2 weeks, hopefully with a much better show. So, have a good couple weeks. Check out Defiance. Have fun and keep gaming.